Hi Sohn, how are you today?
I'm cool, thank you.
Good. The project Sohn started in 2012.
Yep.
And you already have 1 million followers on SoundCloud.
Shit, really?
Yeah, nearly
Oh,
1
okay.
million. It's about 900,000 something. And did you expect to become this famous in such a short time?
No, not really. It was, yeah, it's been weird. It's been a trip.
I thought so. Yeah. And do you think it has something to do with the label?
I'm not sure, because I think it was, even before then, it was sort of starting to go crazy. And I think it's maybe just a mixture of a few different things, like the fact I've also been doing production work with other people and like songwriting with them and stuff, and a couple of remixes, and I don't know why, actually. I think it's just because I think actually now is the only time when the 4AD thing is starting to hit, now that the album is coming, because before then most of the stuff we still did kind of independently. So it will be interesting now to see what happens, considering what already happened, to see what happens now that 4AD are kind of really involved. Yeah, it's kind of mad.
Yeah, I think it works very well. And your first long play, Tremors, will be released in April.
Yeah.
And you have your very own unique sound. How would you describe it?
Scruffy, even though it probably isn't, but it is in the way it's made. And for electronic music, quite organic, I would say, probably. But I think that's mainly because I'm not really working in the same way that a lot of electronic producers work. I'm working with instruments. So a lot of the things which get played in, like for example on Artifice, there's this kind of crazy section, and that's like an actual synthesizer, which the reason it's so crazy is because I played something and it did something crazy and I just went with it. Whereas I think a lot of electronic producers work in software, so you'd have to design that, which you can't really do. You have to sort of play with stuff, actually. So yeah, it's kind of, I guess it's sort of organic electronic stuff.
And in which mood should the listener be to listen to your songs? Because I think it's some kind of schizophrenic. I think that you just have to allow yourself to let it wash properly over you, and so therefore you can't, it's not really the record to listen to if you're distracted, particularly. But I don't know. I guess that's it. I guess from the first second of it, it's quite demanding, and yeah, hopefully it just sort of grabs you when you first listen to it. That's my hope. It does. And where do you write your songs? Because does the Viennese ambience have any influence on your music? Yeah,
massively. A lot of the stuff was done here. I had a sort of 1 month period in October or so where I knew that I had to get most of the songs done by November, because I was touring and stuff, and I knew I had to have it done, most of the album, and I thought, oh yeah, that's fine, because I thought I had loads of stuff, and then I realised, like on the first day of recording, I didn't have anything. Basically, I thought that I was going to put 6 old tracks on there, which would have been like a bit of a cop-out, really. So then it suddenly hit me, shit, I need to write some songs. And in that month period, I did most of them, actually. So yeah, a lot of them were written in a quite short period of time, considering that it's taken a long time for me to write an album. So yeah, Vienna was really important to that. Like the whole mood of going to that studio at sort of 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night, leaving at 5 or 6 in the morning, and it was kind of, the whole sound of the album is basically like that mood, I guess.
And how long did it take, the whole album, from the first step till the last?
I don't know, because the thing is, I had a lot of sketches already. I guess I'd started, I had, for example, 3 tracks were already released, so I had those already recorded, even though I went back and mixed them again and changed them slightly. But the rest of the tunes really came together in that last month, basically. So even though I had some version of some of them, maybe 4 of those came together really in the last month from nothing. So yeah, it was quite a fast process considering what a long process it really was in completion. But yeah.
And your videos, I think they're very minimalistic, especially blood flows. And is this all your idea, or do you have someone else who writes the script?
It depends. Blood flows was an idea which myself and my friend Christian Pitchell came up with, and he did a really cool job on that. Like, it just looks really perfect. And then the videos since, like the lessons video and the artifice video, basically I don't have time. So what happens is we get treatments sent to us where people are pitching their idea of how they see the song, and every now and then, which is really lucky, every now and then something comes along where you think, yeah, that's exactly what I would see it being. So lessons, straight away the first thing that guy Olivier said was, okay, so I see this about running, and it's like, yeah, exactly, that's exactly what it's about. When you hear the music, it's totally how I would have pictured it. And Artifice was a bit more difficult because I didn't really have any idea what to do for that. But this guy Tom Glunt came along really at the last minute and just said, here's my treatment, and we saw it and thought that looks great, so we just did it. Yeah.
It's very interesting, this video to Artifice.
Yeah,
I think
it's very cool.
Yeah.
I really like the way you did it.
Yeah. And you've already released 4 videos, even although the album's not out yet.
Yeah.
How important do you think is the combination of music and video?
I'm not sure, because at first, when all the stuff was being released, it was only audio, until The Wheel, I guess. And The Wheel, even then, that was something which was put together by somebody, like, without us really. We had an idea of what it was going to be before they did it, but it was quite vague. You know, we knew that they were going to use found footage. We asked them to include clips of specific things. But I don't know. It's a funny thing, because in the music industry, it's really, you know, before Artifice was released, it was really being said, oh, okay, maybe we won't have a video for this song, because we didn't really have a lot of time to get it done. And then suddenly it became a thing where I was being told, no, it's really important to have a video. And I'm not sure it's as important now as it used to be, actually, because I think now the sort of power of the music blogs and the whole SoundCloud way of putting things up mean that that's a really great way to reach people. And, you know, things like Hype Machine run off of the SoundCloud links and stuff, and so that there's a whole side to that sort of blog and hype industry which is fine just to have audio, actually. But I guess in terms of reaching any mainstream listeners, you need videos, because that's the first thing that anyone does when they say, have you heard this artist, the first thing they do is go to YouTube, actually, not to SoundCloud or something. So I guess it is important to go to that next step.
And you produce many songs and tracks of other artists, and you remixed, right? Lana Del Rey. And how do you select those artists?
If I like it, I do it. And if I mean, we get loads of requests now about that sort of thing, and there's one simple thing is that there's just no time. Like, there's really no time. Like, I got back yesterday from Los Angeles, and now I'm doing this, and then tomorrow is another press day, and then I've got a show, and it's just like, there's no time. There's not 24 hours. And so the ones that do come through that I do have to be really good or really interesting, to me at least. And so, yeah, that's so far how we've done it. And that's why with the artists that I have worked with, hopefully the output is quite sort of high in terms of how good it can be, because I've really selected specifically which ones I wanted to work with. So I think so far the only things which have come out are the Banks track, the 2 Quabs tracks, and this new one was Eric Castle's, a new one which came out last week. But I haven't spoken about it yet because of Artifice coming out, so it's sort of crossing over.
And I've heard a rumor, I don't know if it's true or not, but which says that you would work with Lord, the Grammy.
It's an interesting rumor.
Is it true?
It's an interesting rumor.
Okay, it's just an interesting rumor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. And in the song Lessons, you sing, this time I do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
What is the most important lesson that you had to learn in the music business?
Have a strong idea of what you want to do, and commit to it 100%. Is probably the main thing, actually. Other than that, it's about having the people around you who can make the things that you want to happen in the right way. But mainly, all of it comes from following through 100% yourself, your ideas. Because if you've got if you have a concept for something that you want to do, or a goal in life where you sort of, when you get halfway, you start to sort of think, I don't know, do I want to do this or this? Then in that time, something has already gone past you, actually. So the most important thing about why it's working now, I guess, is that basically I've been very consistent with myself as well. I don't come off track anymore. I used to allow myself to change my mind from 1 second to the next, and now I'll sort of stop, think about it, consult people around me, think about what they've said, think about whether or not I agree or not, and then finally make a decision after a week of cooling off. Whereas before, I guess because the project was so much smaller, you can make a decision in the middle of the night and post something online if you want to. So it's about sort of consistency more than anything, and working hard.
Okay.
Working really hard.
Okay, thank you very much.
Cool, you're welcome.